How we scaled our offer to high-ticket closers to 70K per month without an audience. So the niche was biz-op to high-ticket closers, and context on the business was this was the second offers that we launched. We launched like a sales coaching offer. It worked okay. We made 50K in 2 months, but we couldn't make it work on paid ads. And we knew in order to really scale things up, especially without an audience and doing it relatively quickly, we needed to have something that scales well on ads. And we tried like a group funnel, we tried lead magnets, we tried quite a few things to get the sales coach to work, but we just couldn't. Maybe it was the skill set, probably as always, but as a situation. And we decided to change our messaging, and we internalized one of the lessons that we learned from affiliate marketing world and from, in general, great marketers, that in the face of product market fit, two things that matter is just your positioning and how many things you launch. The more things you launch, the more success you will have, as long as you also follow the first rule. So then we recorded one ad that was selling that will help you become fractional sales consultant, and it clicked. Like our calls went from like 200, 250 qualified booked call to like $20 to $40 consistently, and we were able to scale that. Like if you have such cheap costs, you can close one in like 25 people in your school will be absolutely printing. So we need to have something that will really scale and be able to be fun and push hard. And the only way we did it was paid ads. Maybe getting viral, but it was hard, and we didn't have experience in doing so. So a few lessons from that is, number one, launch new things all the time to have short iteration loops. Even when you have something that is working, especially with Andromeda update and the amount of creative that you need to be putting out, just test things all the time, especially using the process that we have, which is the 30-15-2 process. But a basic, the process that we created inside of a company basically meant that we were launching a lot of static creative, a lot of image ads, because that enabled us to have very short iteration loop and pretty much go from an idea to shipping something within sometimes even hours. And you don't need a VSL, you don't need a new angle, you just need new ads, maybe a type form, and see what it produces. And I met a person a few days ago that was launching new offer every 2 weeks for 5 months. Like let that sink in. I don't know how many offers that was, but like a lot. That's like more than 10. And almost all of them flopped. And what I mean by that is like, this guy was a very experienced marketer, worked for massive, like $1 billion company almost in our industry. So he knew the process, but but what I mean by flop is it was working pretty decently, but not to the level that he wanted it to scale to his goals, which is like hundreds and hundreds of millions in valuation. And then he found an offer, and then he kind of like stumbled his way onto launching an offer that was very unique. I'm not gonna like say it here because how interesting that niche is. And then he scaled to $1 million per month in 12 months. Because one, he had an experience of doing all those things. But when you find something that is working, you don't tell anybody, you shut down all the doors, and you just go all in on it. But the key to it is launch a lot of things. So for VSL funding, you have to sell really hard to make it work, and the show-up rates were an issue. We tried a lot of things, and that also what enabled us to learn the whole funnel process to such a high degree, because the show-up rates were absolutely abysmal. But over time, we were able to improve it. That's how we also learned a lot from it. And the person that was selling it for us was very good at sales. I mean, we were teaching high-ticket sales, so we had to impress the people that we are speaking to that our sales skills are not only better than them, but also like we also are able to teach them business, that's what we're trying to do there. So it was not an easy sell, to say the least, but we made it work. That was our specialty. So to make an offer work, you need to have the right time, positioning, and the funnel and the sales process. Quite a lot of things aligned. For example, we tried at the start doing like different positionings. That didn't really work. We tried different funnels, like a lead magnet or this one. That didn't really work. It could be that we didn't have as much experience with that funnels, definitely. And then sales process, right? Like if our salesperson couldn't close, well, that's, it kind of doesn't matter. And right time. I worked with a founder recently that even though his offer is pretty good, it's just like not as attractive as it is like as it was a few years ago. He's selling like Amazon FBA. Like Amazon FBA is a good offer, but just right now it's just not as valuable as it used to be. And later, we didn't have timing in the market that well. So we tried to, we were getting this offer to work consistently at around $50, $70, sometimes $80,000 per month. And we just kept it there, and we were working on other projects, helping other businesses scale. We were working on the deals that those salespeople were bringing to us, and we were helping them for a very good revenue. So we were not only making money from that, but we were also making money from helping our clients. And we recorded, we had incredible client results. Like I think we had like one refund, and we had 40 or 50 recorded case studies with clients. So I mean, like just more than 50% like success rate of achieving the results, which in our industry is truly incredible. But which also basically to the second point, like an issue in this business, which is it was very, very hard to scale it beyond the high ticket closers niche, which is relatively small. We got a lot of great presence in that niche, and people knew us and people respected us, but getting away from it to like different types of sales or even outside of that little industry was very, very hard to not sell people. We can sell to anybody, but to deliver results to them, which kind of like made this business really hard to scale. Also, when we were trying to scale different types of our funnels and things like that, things were breaking up. But we needed to just spend more, hire more people who scale things up and establish ourselves as a market leader in that little market and just stay in the market. Like that was our biggest mistake with that, because we got a lot of very good deals that come from that, and we just launched a different offer. We just like, hey, that's when we can't really scale past this like around 100K per month, so we just change things out. That was a mistake, and we could have just pushed that. And we ended up partnering on deals with Creator, launching a different offer, which is a story for another day. And my co-founder didn't really like creating content and just prefer doing ads. So matching the person with the jobs that they will be doing is important. Like I personally don't mind creating videos and creating ads and creating those things. He really didn't like that, so we just changed to that. So the biggest things I've learned from it is when you find some, like it's really hard to find some product market fit, but once you find it, go really hard on it. And also, as we're working with others right now on their other offers, that's our advantage. We have the perspective of messing it up. So right now we are just going really hard, and we have that perspective of scaling other businesses to be like, well, a lot of the times when you figured out the hardest part, which is generating qualified leads at a good cost, you should just go hard. And then how to get there, launch a lot of things, and have ideally also you have a good salesperson. When you have, because a lot of the times you will not know if it's ads or if it's leads or it is sales until you keep at least one thing constant. And I think that we keep constant is a good salesperson, right? Like we always try to put a great salesperson, a proven salesperson on the new sales process, so that we are sure that the issue is only like leads, right? Because the salesperson is a stable variable. The marketing is not, it's a variable, not a constant. So that's kind of the lessons from it. And if you have more questions around this business, please let me know in the comments. Looking back at it, it was relatively simple business. We are pushing 10 to 20 US per month. We're generating calls from that, closing the calls. That's it. This is like a definition of an info business that makes 600 to 800K per year with very little work. It was almost like a one-person business, and it really was very nice, and it also taught us a lot of very interesting lessons. So it's an amazing business to start when you're new to things.